Welcome, A-Train PC Classic fans, to A-Train PC Classic with Omnius Prime. A-Train PC Classic, my favorite train, transport, city building game. Episode 11, Tourist Haven 9. Victory Lap, playing for fun. Why not? Now that I've got the victory conditions over with, doesn't mean that after spending as much time as I have on this scenario that I want to just stop. So I've gone through, it is August 3rd of 2008, and I've been working on expanding the city and discovering little tricks of the game and stuff. And I've been expanding my freight truck network, and really am starting to see how building roads and moving construction materials into areas can really promote growth. Um, like here's the bullet train station over here, and of course my little empty spot for the indoor stadium. And in this area back here, I've found that to promote growth, um, the range of my construction materials, as you can see, only goes so far. Okay, right to the edge of this road, and over here, same thing. You see how the range can fill in a certain area, but just isn't going to fill in this area. So by bringing in new roads and um, construction materials, I'm able to start filling in this area that was not within supply, range of the materials depots over on the other side of the tracks. And as you can see over here, I have pretty good range, so I want to move materials into this area over here to supply construction, and over here. So now what I've been learning is all about, and as you can see over here, if I come over, I've been starting off with one station here and building. Now this was the original course, was going through here, okay, and I've added a truck route to go originally over to South Doobie, way over here. And then, just for good measure, I could make a real short little turn off and have a materials depots over here, supplying a nice area. And over here, supplying an area that isn't supplied by these guys. And sure enough, I'm starting to see some nice construction along these roads and stuff, especially around the train stations. So now what I need to do is just go ahead and remove that hex right there. And now what I'm going to do is just connect up right there. And this way, there's never any confusion for the trucks about where he's going. So let's see, I happen to have semi-freight 1 with no materials in it. So I'm going to put him over here, reverse him, so he goes in to pick up materials. And just make sure that he's run this route before. So North Alioth is the pickup point, load, And yes, he's run this route before, so Northwest Alliot um, is where he's going to start dropping off, which will be over here. And then all I have to do is just, remove that corner, cut off this route, and then I can just connect up to here and then run the materials over into this area to keep supplying construction. And one thing, a new thing I found, instead of just feeding one one material depot, I could actually spread them out, as you can see, into two. And what this does is spreads out the range that materials can flow. Kind of like being beamed in by Scotty for people. So now that I've done that, I happen to have $401 million cash on hand. I just completed my stock offering. I waited until after July 1st. At July 1st, I paid dividends of it was like about 33 cents a share. If we take a look at my yield, I am currently tied with Blue Fishery at 4.6%, the highest yield. Now, what I actually paid was like 4.2%. So I think my stock prices have gone down. As you can see, they went down a little bit, but now they're rising back up again. Let's see. There we go. So as you can see, they went down, and now they're starting to rise up again. And let's take a look at Blue Fishery. Blue Fishery is kind of on the way down. And that's why his yield looks better. Because his is on the way down. Mine is now back on the way up. So it's kind of really, the stock market thing is just what really is a lot of fun with this game. So let's see. Here we go. Subsidiaries. Construct. Oh, gee, I happen to have that already picked out. So it's going to go right here. Now, if I rotate it, I have two choices, to the right and to the left. I want it to the left because there happens to be a bus stop just right in front of that entrance. And it's closer to the bullet train entrance. So this is going to cost me $306.7 million. And I have 11 out of 192 materials. Boom. And he told me that this was now I would make good profits. It was a good place to build. One of the things I found was it's a matter of timing when you place these amusement structures, subsidiaries, because if the economy is not doing well, then what you're going to find is that let's take a look at this, that your amusement facilities will not do well either, the subsidiaries. So that was why, the amusement park didn't do as well for a while as like Alioth Tower and the Fecta Aquarium. But I have been selling a few more. I waited until the end, until like April 1st, before I went ahead and put 6 more subsidiaries up for sale. So if I take a look at my financial results right now, I have 1.354 billion in sales. My net loss right now is at 199 million, and that's much better than it was at the beginning of the year. My sales of fixed asset profits is 101 million. And I did pay off that $200 million loan. It was about a $266.6 million, and I paid $66.6 million in paid interest. So that kind of helps to offset the amount of fixed asset profit that I was generating. I still have deferred asset depreciation, actually amortization is what we really can't call it, of intangible assets, 267.6 million. So that's a cost that's like right up front that I have to overcome. My depreciation is 164.6 million. That's on the structures and facilities that I own, buildings and stuff. And one thing I've been trying to do is increase the quality of buildings, like right here. I did build a high-rise condominium D in the last fiscal year. What I'm looking at is, trying to boost up population. And I've been doing a pretty good job of that. If we come down to the city info and look at the population, it's been a nice steady increase. And I think I'm just about either have crossed or am crossing the 60,000 population number, which is rather cool. So, I really, really enjoyed this game. The reason I'm playing this now is that I'm really learning the nuances of this game. Now, one of the things I was so glad to get rid of the materials factory. So, like right here, this material factory is, not doing very well because the areas that I feed have been kind of stuffed up. And all of a sudden now I can use my trucks and start moving this built-up materials here that have been doing nothing for a while over to depots over here, back here in the center to feed this materials depot here to make sure that these material depots over here have materials in them. So, one of the things I found is that, yeah, I have a few trucks. I have 5 trucks. 2 of them are basically kind of set types of routes. I have the semi-freight 4 here, which is running materials either up into Alaska for sale and getting a tidy little profit, or moving materials over here. Okay, and as you can see, I've built one of those apartment building Ds here. I just kind of waited for the timing to be right, and sure enough, it told me that I would be making good profits on this, so this became a good place to build. And this helps to build up this area here, especially with the materials, to help feed this train and get more and more passengers on it. And of course, I've got my fish here and materials for this port, which is running it. I always run my ports at high frequency, man. I want to make that good worldwide export profit. And I've got now this whole line under control, although I found that I've been pushing a lot of materials up here over into these depots over here because I've had a lot of construction around my Doobie station again, as well as Merak. So yeah, I've really found that by spreading out and creating these new roads and stuff, and then putting material factories in here, I can really start to promote growth in areas that didn't have it before. So I'm going to be back in a little bit, and we'll see how my Sports Stadium B is doing. Here we are, back on the Alioth local bus. And I thought that I would take this bus ride again so that you can see how I've been building up this area. Okay. Now, I guess this guy doesn't start until 6 o'clock. There we go. So, there's the new indoor Stadium B, and it is making a ton of money. As I'm finding out, it's all a matter of timing when you build some of these bigger buildings. you definitely need the population to support some of those big venues like the indoor stadium B. Yep, here we are at a light. Now we're off and running again. So this area in here is has really filled in. But what you're going to notice is big changes on the back side. So here we are coming up on kind of the edge of development. Now back here and to the right, that was all farmland. And look at that. So here we do have a patch of farmland coming up. And you can see my material depots right here to the right. So they're fueling all that construction on the left. And yeah, we're just passing up on the left here the high-rise condo D that I like. So now what I'm doing is learning how to start out with apartment building D when the town, the town is small, and then as I build a city up, I can move up to the high-rise condos, and then I can sell the apartment building Ds. And so I put 6 buildings up for sale this year, and sold all 6 of them. Made a tidy profit, fixed asset sale profit, and let's see. So we must be coming up pretty close to the bus station again. Ah, okay. So the indoor stadium would be on our right. So that's that little diner. Then this should be the final stop before we hit the bus station in front of the bullet train. Ooh, got the green light there. So yeah, there's that indoor stadium and some high-rise condos. So the population is now over 60,000. So I've more than doubled the population. So let's go ahead and close that down for a moment. And let's just let the clock run. Maybe a little faster. And then this way can kind of watch the action in kind of a high speed. I'm sure glad that I got rid of the material factories because, boy, man, now the demand has really just caved in. I'm finally getting to move some materials again. But there was like a month where I just had to pull my 3 trucks off the roads and just let clock run. So now I'm kind of trying to fill up the truck depots, the material depots. So I've got a truck running from here to here to fill up the material depot here, and I've got 2 trucks running from here to here, filling up these 2 material depots here and here. So we're coming up on nighttime now, and it is March 31st of 2009. So we're coming up on basically the last fiscal year as far as the time limit that was given to us. I've already accomplished the 4 goals well ahead of time. And, oh yeah, this fiscal year I ended up um, paying off that $200 million loan, just cashed it out. Woo! That was a quick interaction between train and truck there. So here we go. The quarter was in the black. Keep this momentum. So he's smiling. So now, 3.811 billion in sales. Not as good as last year at 4.088 billion in sales. Bottom line, 191.6 million net profit after taxes. Last year, 188.4 million after taxes. So I actually exceeded last year net profit by about almost 3 million. So yeah, good job. Now I had sales of fixed asset profit of 111 million, and there was paid interest of 66 million, which took against it. So now I'm down to the final year. So what do we have here in the black? Consecutive 7 years achieved. And I'm sure I can pick up number 8 next year. Ooh, achievement unlocked. Known across the land. So I even picked up a Steam achievement there. Okay, so April Fool's Day 2009. So let's take a look here. Ooh, wow. In 50 days, I got to fess up. I owe about 1.7 billion. In 50 days, I got to pay that off. Let's see, I have 326 million on hand. Luckily, the interest rate now is down to 9%. And if I ask for credit, I've got 2.9 billion. 2.9 billion to rely upon. So I am going to have to borrow to pay off the loans, but I don't think I'll have to borrow quite as much. Now, what I'm going to need to do is I have 121.8 million in accrued corporate tax. I have 45 million in accrued fixed asset tax. So that's what 167 million in taxes to pay by June 1. So I'm going to have to reserve like 170 million of that money. So I've got about 156 saved up. So by the time I hit what was it? May 21, I'll see how much I have money accumulated, and what I'll probably end up doing is just borrowing enough to pay off the loan and the interest. And so what I want to do is try to reduce my net debt a bit, which right now stands at 1.2 billion. Here we are. It's May 20th, 2009, 11 p.m. And tomorrow I have to pay back 3 loans of 424,800,000 apiece. I have already paid off one of them. I decided that this year, instead of doing the stock offering after the July 1 dividend payment date, I decided I'm going to go April 1st and get some money in on May 1st. So I picked up about 289 million, and with what I was doing, accumulating, I've been able to pay off one of those $424,800,000 loans. Now, I've got 507 million in sales, and my net current loss is 443.7 million. That's a big loss to make up. I have 36.8 million in fixed asset profit, and of course I've got that 124,800,000 in paid interest, and I've got was that about 463 million in depreciation and amortization, the deferred asset depreciation cost. So I start the year out, that 460 some million in the hole. But I have a whole year to make it up. But now what's going to happen? So what I'm going to do, I have I've been working on paying down the loans so that I have AAA credit rating. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to borrow 275 million times 4, 1.1 billion. Do it for 4 years. So what I'm doing is basically trimming down my debt by 100 million. So I had a 1.2 billion in loans. Now it's going to be 1.1 billion. So at least I'm making some progress here, and I'll have paid off all the interest. Okay, there's that. Let's get a third one in. Whoopsie, don't want that much. And one more. And I'm doing it in these $275 million increments, hopefully to so that they'll be easier to pay off like one by one. There. So now I have 1.488 billion on hand. So now I can go ahead and run clock, and this is funny. Total assets, $4 billion. Achieved! Okay, this is kind of a phony achievement because what I did was I borrowed just before I'm going to pay the loans off. And so now the U.S. Navy rescued a ship captain. Okay, a payment was made for the load, should be loan. And so now I have $213.9 million left on hand. I still have to pay about 67.5 million. So that leaves me with about 50 million after I pay the taxes, and then I'm going to need to pay dividends on July 1st. And last year it was about 72 million, so it could be 85 million or so that I'm going to pay for dividends. Now let's take a look at my profit and loss statement. And we look at the bottom line. I've got to make up $818.8 million. I've got that paid interest of $499 million weighing me down this fiscal year. So it's doubtful that I'm going to be able to improve on the profitability of last year. But my goal now is going to be to see if I can end the year making a profit. Here we are back on the streetcar line, and looks like it's 5:30 in the morning. So I figured let's take a streetcar ride one last time and see how the city has developed. And it has been developing. So here we are. It is March 31st. 2010. This is supposed to be the last day of the scenario time limit for the normal difficulty level. And I happen to have 303.5 million in the bank, cash on hand. So I can buy. You can see material, construction material containers over there on the right. I found that moving them around, all over the place, and really, really helps the city grow. Um, Train stations are the best at helping cities grow in the vicinity around a train station. Bus stations aren't quite so helpful, but it's not the buses, it's the roads that you build for the bus route. Um, that helps to stimulate growth, along with putting materials out in a lot of different places to foster growth. And there's the radio tower that is no longer mine. I did pretty well. I had to make up that $499 million interest charge for the paying off 3 of those big loans. Um, that was a nearly impossible amount to overcome. Plus, this was the last year of the $200 million hit on profits from the $1 billion bullet train research expense. So, starting next year, won't have that $200 million charge against profit. A non-cash expense, the depreciation and amortization. So I had quite a bit of amortization and depreciation to overcome. But next year, we won't have that $200 million. So I'll start the year off less in the hole than I would have. So here we are at the, this used to be the old end of the line here, is affect the wholesale market. And that's kind of cued off in the distance. You can see those little mountains, although, or hills, I guess. So there's the movie theater B that I built a long time ago and that I sold a year or 2 ago. And here's the amusement park A. Just figured that I needed something here as an attraction for the streetcar line. And just to give effect to point, whoops, let's turn it around and go back the other way, facing the correct way. But yeah, I just thought that was a good place to build one of those Ferris wheels. So I did learn a lot about how to play the game, that and how to use roads and construction materials to help foster growth. So yeah, I only built the one Ferris wheel. The program, the AI, or a lot of times I call it artificial ignorance. Although sometimes it can be appropriate to say that it's the annoying ignorance. Because sometimes the AI can be somewhat helpful, and sometimes the AI can not be helpful at all. And build things where you don't want them. And I found that this is a fun game. I mean, it was really interesting to see how the construction material prices, they were up in the $30,000, $40,000 range. Now, they're done around the close to the $10,000 range, maybe $10,000 to $15,000 for local bid and my average inventory price, and maybe $20,000 to $25,000 for sales price, for what I can sell it at, depending on where I sell it. So it was interesting to operate in an environment where the prices were changing, especially on the construction materials. And it was one reason why I ended up getting out of the construction materials factory business. I just saw that it really wasn't worth doing that anymore. You know, the one thing I haven't done was taken a ride on one of these little cars right there. Have no idea how far they might go or where they might go. But one of these times, or maybe like a person walking, where I can actually go freelance and just start moving around the city as if I was a person and just walk around and just go wherever I want to go. But I had a good time. I hope that um, I can inspire some people to give this fine, fun game another chance. Um, it really is a good business simulation. With the way the prices change and demand. I mean, man, there's times that the construction material demand is just super high, and then it'll just drop off a cliff, and it looks like we're at the end of the line. Ooh, so, ride done. And as you can see, things are whizzing around here. And there's the trains. Let's see. What if I catch this guy? Turn him around. Okay, he's hit the end of the line, so let's turn him around again. And now this is the blue line with the bullet train station on our right. So this is the original North Alioth station. This is kind of like my number one station. And as you can see, I mean, this town really built up. And here is East Alioth station. You can see the radio tower off in the distance there. And here we are coming up on those bridges that help me to transport materials around. And now we can turn it around and head back the other way for a full loop, going both ways. But so I still have some things to learn about this game, especially like dealing with underground stations and stuff. I might continue this game a little while longer now and just go ahead and, you know, off the video, and go ahead and research like the underground road technology, and then take a look at what underground stations can do for me, and my nice colorful reggae style color scheme for my vehicles. But yeah, this is a fun game to play. It was challenging to figure out how to make the required amounts. There we go. And now it's 6:24 p.m. And let's just take a look. So up here, oh, I guess I need to start running my truck back here so I can build up over here. I built that apartment building D and then sold it. Got materials kind of backing up there. Adobe's kind of big. See, here's another one of my, this is the high-rise condominium D, and I started building them all over the place. Even took to building some more aquariums. Some more entertainment buildings. And another one over here. But I definitely built up some of these areas. I mean, they were just a little itty bitty, heck, not even a town. Hardly a village. Just, you know, small residential houses. There goes Bullet Train. Probably the last one for the night. One of the things I learned was that on my rural route, a four um, square length of railroad platform probably wasn't enough. Should have gone at least five. And the one problem I had in being able to expand all of them to five was here at Merak Passenger Station. Um, the train that goes out to Kochab. Let's see. Merak Kochab. Still losing money. The funny thing is losing like $1 million a year. And what I could perhaps do is just like take the line out and then expand the tracks. Because see, this building right here, I can't buy it. Otherwise, if I could buy it or bulldoze it, see, I can buy that one, but I can't buy that one, and that's the key. Because I need to go out another square here and then make my turnaround. Uh-oh, this quarter was in the red. Keep at it to turn it around next quarter. Actually, not quarter, but year. Now, here I am, 3.911 billion in sales, which was a little better than last year at 3.811 billion. So now let's get down here. And so I lost 128 million overall, which isn't bad. I mean, like I said, I had the paid interest of 499 million. I did manage sales of fixed asset profit of 203 million, so that definitely helped offset the paid interest. And if I look here at the deferred asset depreciation cost of 244 million and depreciation of 240 million, that's a 480 million dollar expense, non-cash expense from previous years of spending money on buildings and stuff like that, and then the deferred assets, the research projects. So overall, now when I go to the beginning of this year, my deferred asset depreciation cost might be about 44 million because it's going to drop to 200 million. So let's go ahead and take a quick look now at the P&L before we really get started. So now this year I've only got a $300 million loss to overcome. Wow. Deferred asset depreciation cost is now down to 17 million. My depreciation for buildings and structures and stuff, 278 million. So that's basically where my big loss is well, not so much loss, but this is an expense I now have to overcome, and you know, I can easily overcome that, easily. Now, one of the nice things is in that I lost money, is I only owe 8,000 for the corporate tax. That's your minimum tax, and my accrued fixed asset tax is now 48 million. So I only have to pay 48 million for June 1st, and since I have 303 million, that's not going to be much of a problem. Let's take a look at the company info. So I have 1,128 people, and I may gain or lose employees in the next couple of days or whatever. My credit rating, AAA. I'm a super famous brand, and I didn't run one single TV commercial. My workload was the appropriate amount, and the employee status is cheerful. I had 176 kilometers of railway, 220 kilometers of road, and 31 kilometers of streetcar line. And let's see. So tell me, oh, number of subsidiaries, I have 21. So I did learn that I can have more than 20 subsidiaries. I found out I couldn't have more than 10 streetcars, though. So this really helped me learn a lot about how the game works. Now, my population is over 60,000, maybe 65, 66,000. Now, I have a lot of transit and a lot of housing. I really built up the housing. So I really don't have much demand for housing anymore. What I have been trying to do is increase the leisure because commerce is well taken care of. So that's why I was starting to build, some leisure buildings. And what I'm learning is scale matters. Now, speaking of building leisure buildings, Stadium A. Let's come down here. So if I want to build Stadium A, I have a spot up here. It says the site condition isn't bad. Here it says it's poor. So you really got to look at, okay, that's poor. Over here, that's also going to be poor. Over here, more poor. So there's a limited number of places where I can place this. Poor, poor, poor. So isn't bad, poor. And see how just between those two spots, that isn't bad, but that's poor. That isn't bad. That isn't bad. But I've got a lot of stuff over there. And so I'm thinking, I could do that because there's a 25% subsidy for building for building another entertainment building in Alioth. And so I was thinking, you know what? Maybe I could just go ahead and, oh, I get a rotate. Okay. So those two. How about if I just do that so it kind of hits up to the, so I need 160 materials. So this will keep, trucks busy over in this lot right here for a while. So it's all a matter of timing. Now my indoor stadium, boy, when I built it in the first, my first rendition of this city, it did poorly. Last year, it made me $151 million. Whoa. So nice profitability. The other thing that you have to pay attention to is in the beginning of each year, your secretary is going to come out and tell you if, what the financial conditions for the year are going to be. This year happened to be good. The first couple of years were sluggish, and then I had a couple of years of on the road to recovery. And this is the first year where it told me that I have a good economy. So I hope that you have enjoyed this series, and I may make another video series of another scenario further on down the line, maybe on the hard level. But I hope that I can inspire some people to give this game a new look and a new try, and to give more than a cursory kind of preview that really just doesn't touch the depths of just how awesome this game really is. So, I hope that you've enjoyed this series, and if I do come back for another one, I hope that you'll be back to see it.